Terence Crawford being accused of using PEDs before the Errol Spence beatdown. What's good, everybody? It's your boy, Cardinal Reds. But let's talk about it. Alright, y'all. So, recently, Terence Crawford fought Errol Spence Jr. in one of the most anticipated fights in boxing. Turned out to be one-sided, and a lot of hurt feelings from one side of this fight. And I just wanted to break down, give my 400 nickels on what everyone is saying about Bud possibly using PEDs. That's for anybody listening.
So, we all know that Terence Crawford started dealing with snacks, I think around the time of him fighting Shawn Porter. This is my opinion, family. The reason why I believe that he stalled out the first fight in the negotiations with Errol Spence is because he was allowing the products that he was using from VICTOR CONTE to work in his system. Me, the real Marlo, and Manager Marty, we was all on Manager Marty's show. Now, one thing we can say, and we know for a fact, Errol Spence looked it different, okay? Terence Crawford looked it a little bit different.
Alright, y'all, so what is going on, man? You know, I said like maybe about a week before the fight, I can't remember the name of the video, but I definitely remember making the video, and I said that I don't want anybody to try to come out and say that whoever wins the fight is on steroids if it turns out to be one-sided. And it's crazy because it turned out to be one-sided. Just for the other side. Now, I understand that there are reasons why the fight was one-sided, and I'm not going to accuse anybody of using steroids who hasn't been popped for that. So, me personally, I don't think that he's been juicing or using roids or PEDs or, you know, whatever people are calling them nowadays. Me personally, I think it was an issue of exactly what Errol Spence has been telling us for the past 2 or 3 years, that he can't make the weight anymore.
Like the overachieving warrior.
It's just too difficult, and he's having to do things that are making his body a lot weaker during the fights and putting him in danger of losing, which he actually did to Terence Crawford.
You hollering louder than anybody in here, man. So obviously you got some hostility in your heart. So what, you gonna throw it all up in my face? Huh, is that it? That's what you gonna do? What if I throw these up in your face, huh?
Now, here's the thing about what people are saying. You know, I know that there are a lot of hurt feelings out there. There are a lot of Errol Spence fans who feel like he shouldn't have lost that fight. But if you as a fan were actually listening to Errol Spence, if you're listening to your favorite fighter, you would understand why he lost the fight, because he's told us 8 million times.
Pardon me, sugar bop, honey bun. I don't mean it in the shop.
Even though he hasn't said anything since the loss, you know, except for what he said immediately after the fight, that he wants the rematch. That's all we've heard from Errol Spence. Now, we all know why he lost the fight. And if you're a true fan of Errol Spence, you should just go with the reason that has been given, which is he couldn't make the weight anymore. He said it immediately. He patted Terence Crawford on the back for having the victory. He knows he can beat him, you know, so that's as far as we should be taking this.
One more thing before you go. I'll get the rest of the gifts tomorrow.
But, you know, since people are taking it there, I'm going to address it. You know, the fans that are saying Terence Crawford is on the juice, you know, he might possibly be, but if he hasn't gotten popped for it, you know, just let it be. Errol Spence lost, bro. He lost, man. That fight's over. The only thing we should be focusing on is the rematch. Because I think anything less than that, you're starting to make yourself look bad as a fan. You're starting to make us as Errol Spence fans look bad. And you're starting to make Errol Spence look bad as a fighter by chasing a ghost that you're never going to catch. You know, if they catch Bud cheating, that's a whole nother thing. But if they haven't caught him cheating, you're just really making Errol Spence look like a sore loser, and his fans look like sore losers. I'm not a sore loser.
Oh. Just to confirm things, as far as I'm concerned, we ain't friends no more. Cole, I holler at you.
I don't feel like me addressing what Errol Spence has been saying for 2 years, sore losing. He said he couldn't make the weight. I, as a fan, now acknowledge that I wasn't listening to him say he couldn't make the weight, and that's most likely why he lost the fight. You know, Terence Crawford has great skills. Do I think Terence Crawford is that much more better than Errol Spence? I think that if he proves it in the rematch, yeah, he just is that much more better than Errol Spence. But from what I saw and what I know about the first fight, I think he won the fight, but that wasn't the best version of Errol Spence. So I can't say just yet that he's that much more greater or better than Errol Spence until I get to see Errol Spence fight Terence Crawford at his best.
I just got finished schooling some of these young punks in my jiu-jitsu class.
And if Terence Crawford happens to lose that fight and says that he wasn't at his best, then we have to have a trilogy to actually know who is the better out of those two guys. I would never say that he's on steroids and that's the reason why my side lost. I would never do Terence Crawford that bad. I will say that that wasn't the best version of Spence that Terence Crawford fought. I do think that Terence Crawford waited Errol Spence out, but that's as far as I'm going to go with it. You know, accusing him of being on some type of extraterrestrial activities, I think is a little over the top, and it's taking it a little too far. Errol Spence lost. You know, as a fan, you should have been listening to Errol Spence, and you should have been calling for him to go to 154 and not to take the Terence Crawford fight. You should have been calling for him to drop the titles and fight Keith Thurman instead of fighting Terence Bud Crawford for you and your ego, for me and my ego. And now we got the result of what happened, which was Errol Spence took a loss because, like he said, he couldn't make the weight anymore. It had nothing to do with PEDs. Believe me, if Errol Spence thought that they were on something or they used something extra, him, his team, Al Heyman, Showtime, everybody involved would be screaming and stuff because they upped a lot of money to an independent fighter, basically. They just got finished upping a lot of money to an independent fighter, and they have to do it again. So if they felt like it was a shady going, believe me, they would have brought it up already.
Never question my authority in front of others.
I is sorry, massa. You be the boss man now, and all us chillins must learn
Major
to
Forbes, stand at attention. Sergeant Mulcahy, you may commence.
Y'all let me know what y'all think about all that down in the comment section below. Hit that like button, fun at share, subscribe, holler at me on all social media platforms at Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. But you're more than likely to get a response on the tube, so holler at me over there. If you want to collabo, feature a product or your channel on my channel, feel free to hit my Gmail because it is a flock of cards at gmail.com. And we are mine.
Now who you know better? Dolce & Gabbana umbrella, keep the weather off the leather. Life's a bitch, and I'm sure you let her. She try and hold me down, but you know I wouldn't let her. I go so cold, drove in the joke. Hoes in the car, getting low off the bar. Wake up, bitch, I show you where it is. 502, let me show you where I live. Wake up, bitch. They sleeping on the field. Freak up in them heels, getting freaky off the pill. I told that bitch I been that nigga, I been that spizzer, I been hair hooks like Lou Well Cinder. I'm killing all them boys going dirty. It's your boy Keys, player, this is my year. Hey, we got the good rockin' front to back. Ain't gonna be no hating shit around here. Hey. cuz fucks with it. I'm doing it, moving it, proving it. Come through with it, go ahead, move it, bitch. Young Lewis is way too cool with it. I keep a chicken in the bird like ludicrous. I got a stupid clique, hooligans, bruise your shit. Not the type of cat you wanna get into it with. Keep running your mouth, I'ma put a shoe in it. Won't stop till I'm super rich, nigga, you's a bitch. And I'm the best thing left, man. Wet game, leave your dame with a sweat stain. So niggas wanna start shit when I'm riding with they bird like Leonard Part 6. You know them boys gon' dirty. It's your boy Keys, player, this is my year. Hey, we got the club rockin' front to back. Ain't gon' be no hating shit around here. Hey,